The goal of the show is to help you break in and thrive in advertising. And we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. We also post advertising news you need to know in 60 seconds or less every single day on our LinkedIn. You should check that out. Follow us at Breaking Entering Media for ad news like you've never seen before. Today, you are going to learn, and you're going to learn to love Damaune Journey. He's the Chief Growth Officer over at 72andSunny. You probably heard of 72andSunny. If you haven't, welcome to the ad world. They are on fire. I'm a big fan of their stuff that they've been rocking it for decades now. Founded by Glenn Cole, Damaune here is in charge of growing the agency, new business, client relationship at a global level. I learned a lot this episode. We know some of their clients, NFL, United Airlines, Adobe, and more. He's going to talk about those, what he does, and how he transitioned into the ad world about 4 years ago. He started in advertising 4 years ago, transitioning from business and engineering. Why I love his break-in story is because he saw a problem with the industry, pointed it out, and then wanted to fix it. So he joined and broke into it. So we'll talk about later transitions, how to succeed in account management, all of this with a smile and energy and that competitive edge that makes 72andSunny so great. So stick around, give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. And as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. All right, Damaune Journey, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How the heck are you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Heck yeah. You are the Global Chief Growth Officer for one of the agencies, probably with one of the best names of all time.
Yeah. 72andSunny is not just a great place, but it has a freaking great name too. I'm really fortunate to be associated with such a group, for sure.
First question, right off, let's do this. Like, do you find that the branding, just the name alone, is a filter and makes your job easier when you're looking for new clients, partnerships? The branding is already established so well from the name. Does that make life easier?
Well, it certainly separates the wheat from the chaff in some ways. Like, if you've not heard of 72andSunny, you probably haven't spent a lot of time in advertising or marketing. And so it is a brand that carries forward by name. So that's very helpful. The other part of that, the flip side of that coin is, if ever anyone has had a bad experience, or if ever someone thought that it didn't deliver, is not a name that they would forget about, right? And so I think it puts a bit of pressure, healthy and good pressure on us to make sure we're always delivering. So when people have that association, it's always a positive and, one might say, a sunny one.
Totally. Yeah, it's just like the fundamentals, right? Like, branding is what you do consistently all the time, not just what you say about yourself. It's how you show up in the world, what you do, how you make people feel. So for this show, we got to understand you. We got to understand your role. What does that mean? What's it like at 72andSunny today? And then how you broke in. Best advice. How's that run a show?
That sounds great to me. And I'll just add one other thing to your statement around branding. In many ways, I think branding is about what people say about you, how they feel about you, as much as it is what you say about you or what you want them to feel. And so your point is very well made that the brand lives outside of the people who are trying to create it in many ways. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we can shape it and stuff, but really it's not up to us. I love that.
That's right. The brand belongs to the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
What, okay, outside of advertising, what's your, in your career, what's your personal brand like? Or is it all work? Is it, dedicated to the craft and the hustle, which is cool too. I don't knock that, but you tell me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. My brand, I would like to believe, is as a good person, a dad, a husband, hopefully a good dad and a good husband, good son, to my parents, good brother to my siblings. And beyond that, I would like to believe that my brand is about getting shit done and being effective at it and doing it in a way that people actually want to be around me while we're doing it and after the fact. And so um, it's high performance brand, I would like to believe.
That's a good point, because you can get shit done, but then be tough to work with. And
Totally.
you can if you're really good at your job and you're really mean, tough to work with, you can probably get away with it.
Yeah.
But
But,
it's
but
better to be nice, and you'll probably be the ceiling is much higher.
totally, you can get things done and leave a wake of dead bodies behind you. And that's not a good place to be for most people. Right. And so um, there's a way to both be a high performer and also be someone that people want to spend time around. And for me, I'm looking at both of those dimensions as important in the overall kind of arc of my life. I want to make sure that that's still stable.
So at 72 and Sunny, in your role specifically, what would personify high performance? Like, you do this thing, you win this, or you achieve this. What is that? What is like the highest performance thing that you keep chasing after in your specific responsibilities?
Yeah, in my specific responsibility, I think the highest performing thing that I'm looking forward to doing as much as I possibly can is helping us find clients that are a great fit for us. Those great clients operate in a space where they walk away and say, damn, it's been great that we chose 72 and Sunny. It was a smart choice. There was value provided and added, and I look smarter for doing it. And on the same side, I want the people inside of our business saying, man, that was a freaking great client partner choice. We are better for it. We're winning awards. We've grown their business, and we've enjoyed the process throughout. If I can find a way to make sure both of those two things happen, then I'm performing at a high level. And if those two things are not in place, then there's work to be done.
Totally. No, absolutely. So
I guess
finding
there's
those.
one other dimension. There's one other dimension of my job, right? So
Bring it.
part of it is, one part of my job is new business and delivering revenue. Another part of my job is key client management and making sure that our key clients are being connected to and are getting their needs met. And sometimes there's conversations that can happen at senior levels that don't always happen on the day-to-day conversations. And so playing a role in that and understanding that. But the third piece is also our comms and PR, our brand building part of the business. And I get the benefit of working with some awesome people on that side of the business. And so I think one dimension of success or high performance over there is, do we have healthy relationships? Do members of the press, cool podcasters like you, do other groups want to engage with us? And when they engage with us, are they having a good experience? Are they learning something? Are they having fun? And is the relationship healthy thereafter? And so those are dimensions for me of high performance and success that are critical.
Got it. So new business, maintaining that business, making sure they're happy, and then the branding, external communications, and internal, I'm assuming as well.
100%.
All that that was going to be my role if I didn't leave and do this podcast full time. That was my career trajectory.
Dude, you'd have my job, which is,
I would have been.
I'm so happy. I'm happy you don't. I'm happy you have your job, and we can do our jobs like now in tandem.
Yeah. It is a tough role because, I always thought that new business and your role in growth, I always thought that it meant putting out great work. That's the start. Like, that's the catalyst. Like, it makes life easier. But then you tell me, like, if for agencies that are not the highest caliber, they're starting off, what if they don't have they don't have those client relationships, or they're not, like, they don't have the great work? How do they grow from there?
Yeah, I think you're right. Great work is absolutely critical. It is, to a degree, subjective as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple parts. Like, you have to produce something that is going to add value to the client. It needs to be effective. We are in the commercial arts. We're not in the fine arts. The things we do shouldn't live in museums. They should actually live in the world and actually generate a result. So I think that's part number one, because if you can do that, there's a story to be told to any new client that you interact with. The second part is, do you do work that's fun and recognizable? And I think that is, that's very helpful when you're trying to grow a brand. If you're a smaller brand and you're looking to to step up in weight class or get new clients, you have to be able to show that you can both be effective, deliver a product that's effective for their business. Because if it's not, you'll get fired or they might get fired and then you'll get fired. And you have to be able to deliver some work that is actually fun and interesting. I think because fun and interesting is part of what makes the press and, beyond, people beyond the press actually pay attention to the work as well. So, it's a dual part dynamic. And then the truth of the matter is you've got to be able to interact with your clients in a way that allows them to feel like they're getting what they're paying for or more. It can't just be leave me alone. I'm going to go in this box. I'm going to create something magical and I'll pop out in 2 weeks with a thing. It's got to be something a little bit more involved than that. We're in the service industry. So you have to make sure you have a relationship where you're actually providing a good service and the clients feel that.
Yeah, definitely. It probably starts with trust. Like this campaign worked. Let's show the results. Now let's push the boundaries. Like kind of let's make it a little bit more creative, a little scarier, and show that it works. And then keep pushing. Probably. But 72 and Sunny,
100%.
Is what you guys are. Yeah, you guys are not in that realm. You guys have already been proven to be like a creative powerhouse for decades now. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So. I got to understand then, what is it like today? I met Glenn Cole at the One show. I had so much fun with him. He was the chairman of the One Club for Creativity. He's passing that on to the next person. So it's a legacy. You guys are crushing it right now. But what is it actually like inside 72 and Sunny? Who are some of the clients that you guys are working with? Give me some employee shout outs as well. Give me the rundown, Damien.
Dude, what's it like? It's freaking fun. Because winning is fun. And as it turns out, we're doing a damn nice job right now of winning. It's part of what's important to us. We play to win. And for us, there's two components of that. There's a high performance culture that we cultivate. And there's a highly creative culture that we cultivate. When those two things come together, a play to win is really the outcome and the output. And so it's been a lot of fun for us over the last few years. We're 21 years old now. We've got some of the best clients in the world, the National Football League, United Airlines, Adobe, Zillow, E-Trade. I don't know, I can go on and on. Panera, Elf, Lingo. There's a bunch of amazing clients that we have. And I just named a smattering of a few. No disrespect to those that I didn't mention in the moment. But it's fun because we have brave clients that want to do brave and bold things. And that allows us to really unlock some of our real potential. We're people who operate in that sort of let's be bold, let's be brave, let's do cool shit sort of category. It can only really fully be unlocked if you have clients who support that. So be it, from the founding of the business with John Boyler and Glenn Cole and Matt Jarvis to the current iteration of executive leadership under Evan's direction, our awesome CEO, who was employee number one, paid employee number one in the business, who's now our CEO and has been moving us into 72 2.0 in a really fast, amazing way. To all the other leaders, both at the global level and in our office levels, we just have a rock star team and people are swimming in the same direction and it's making a difference.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's many different iterations over the past 20 plus years, right? You have to adapt. And so that's good to know. I mean, understanding the clients and the NFL work, obviously, is something that I've been following. And those Super Bowl slots are always so fun.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job there. My perception of you guys, because of that, is this, it's LA and it is sports, competitive atmosphere at 72 and Sunny. Just so you know what I interpret is that intentional? Do you care what I think? How do you react to that?
Man, we're competitive as hell. So you hit the nail on the head on that one. We play to win. We want to win. High performance, high creativity allows us to deliver that. But I do want to point on or push on one thing, which is LA is where people think of us most,
Mhm.
One, I think the name lends itself to people thinking about Los Angeles. Los Angeles is our largest office, but it's only one of our global network. So we have a New York office that is crushing it. It's had some really good recent wins with Panera and some outstanding work with E-Trade and some Google stuff, and it's doing an amazing job. And that leadership team there has reshaped that thing and is, if you were betting, if you were buying a stock, if you could buy stock in 72 and sunny New York, you should do it. That thing is crushing.
This is
Um,
not financial advice, but
this is not financial advice. I'm not suggesting you could not buy it if you wanted to, but if you could, you should. Um,
that's
so
fine.
that covers our North American offices, led by Mary Ann Molina, those two offices. But we also have, or I should say, and we have a European hub that is based in Amsterdam, and that has been a historic powerhouse. It is growing and doing some really cool things. And then we have an APAC hub that's based in Sydney, Australia, as well. And that group over there, it's down under, so people don't hear about it as much. It's far from the United States, but let's be clear: the 72 and Sunny brand is as strong there as it is here. And so, in each one of those offices, you can walk in the door and find highly competitive people who are performing at the highest level and doing tremendous work for their clients.
Love it. I like that this concept of I share my brand perception of the agency and then they rebuttal. It's a fun little thing there. I've learned a lot
Yeah,
from.
it's good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
happy. I love what your initial take was. It was
yeah.
very spot on.
Yeah, I remember. I'll give you a little verbatim, little story anecdote. I was a senior in college around 2020, so recent grad. Studied advertising, was in the ad club, and we were in New York for an AAF job fair. And 72 and Sunny was there. And I hadn't quite heard about you guys at that time, but I remember distinctly my professor who's been in the industry, how every school has that. He goes, if I were you, go talk to 72 and Sunny. And the line started filling up, wasn't able to make it in there. So
Oh,
everything works out for a reason, but he gave me those early indicators in
well,
my career.
that's great to hear. It's good to know that our brand exists outside of just the corporate spaces. It's great when students know who we are. We get a lot of outreach, to be honest, from students and universities who want to study some work that we've done or have studied some work that we've done,
Yeah,
or would like one of us to come and chat about our particular culture and the way we get to good outcomes. Culture matters, and so we're happy that we're cultivating one that people appreciate.
for sure. So fundamentals, other things, full service creative agency. You can do it all.
Absolutely.
Got it. So you got offices all over the globe. What else fundamentally do we need to know about? You listed off some powerhouse clients. You guys have been winning a bunch this
Yeah.
past year.
Yeah.
I forget top of mind. I mean, I cover the stories every day, and I remember reading 72 and Sunny wins this, wins this, wins this.
Yeah.
Any other fundamentals that we're missing out here?
I'd like to say when we say full service, and people generally think about creative agency in that regard, I'd like to say that we are a world class strategic and creative agency.
Mhm.
And I think the strategic piece is really important for a couple of reasons. One, you can't get to outstanding creative if you don't have outstanding strategy. And what you see might be the creative output on the screen. But what you don't appreciate sometimes is just how much strategic rigor went behind that. And the reason it's so effective on the screen is because of our strategists putting in hours and delivering like pencil sharp, pinpoint accurate strategy that touches growth audiences in a way that moves them. And so, because of that really good work on that side, we've actually created a strategy studio that talks and works with brands just on strategy. And
Hmm.
if they want to deliver, they want creative to go along with that, then we can connect them to great creatives as well. We have those in our building. But if they just need really good brand strategy, if they want some positioning, if they want to get their architecture sorted out, we can provide that service as a standalone feature. And it's been growing leaps and bounds over the last year. So that thing exists. The other thing that exists similarly is 72 sports practice, 72 and Sunny sports practice. We've got a deep and long history in sports, everything from working with sports brands like the NFL or Adidas and Nike and Under Armour over the years, or the LA Rams or Wilson, and brands that are not into sport but need to be as a vehicle to communicate with their audiences. We've been able to help both sides of this kind of this tree really benefit from our sports expertise and generate results for their business, even to the degree of Sport Beach. This magical activation that exists at Cannes Lions now is something that was the founding idea came to 72 and Sunny. And so we were able to take that to our friends at Stagwell and work together with them to turn this into what's become maybe the quintessential event at Cannes these days, certainly for the last 2-3 years. So sports is who we are, one of the things that we deliver. And so we lean hard into that as well for brands.
Yeah. And two things that I really like to hear about is that brands, they might not be directly in sports. They might not be a Nike or a shoe apparel, whatever it might be, but they need to be surrounded by those audiences. So the fact that you're offering strategies, because those audiences definitely align for a lot more brands. A lot of people love sports out there in the world. So they need to be ingrained in that too. And that's so, so important.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, sports is one of the few places where you can expect a nice return on a live audience. And so you really want to be smart about how you engage with sports. And so we've been able to help everything from brands that are far afield in cosmetics or healthcare or, home goods, not the company Home Goods, but home goods, leverage sports in a way that's smart enough that people don't give them the side eye because they're in it. They actually say, I see why that thing made a difference, or why that particular sport connection is useful and beneficial to me as a consumer. And so we're really proud of the fact that we have a consultancy that can really deliver on that for brands, be you already endemic to sport or be you not, and looking to find a way to leverage it.
You said the word. I was thinking about the word endemic.
Yeah.
I couldn't pull it out. That's the word.
It was floating up there and somehow I grabbed it. That's all.
I needed that. That was on the tip of my tongue there. Great. Let's kick it back. When did you break into advertising? At what point did you say, I want to be a part of the ad making process?
Yeah. I joined 72 and Sunny in 2021. So I've only been both in 72 and Sunny and in advertising for 4 years.
Okay.
And so it's rare for someone at my age and stage to enter advertising. Most people, like you, start when they're young. I got into advertising because it was right during the pandemic. I've got 2 young children. I was intimately aware of how much media they were consuming, television and screens, because kids were at home. And I started noticing that my little black and brown son and daughter primarily at the time, I could choose what shows she watched and that there was representation on those shows, but I couldn't choose what advertising she saw. And so as I started to see that there was a space in the world where images and messages really do matter a lot, that wasn't being maybe affected the way I thought it could be, advertising became an industry that caught my attention more and more. And when I bumped into the folks at 72 and Sunny, and their ethos was about optimism, so finding opportunities in every challenge, but also in being very clear-eyed about representation mattering. I said, well, this is a place where I could see spending some of my time, my professional time, in being able to maybe help the representation dynamic that exists in the world. And so I stepped into advertising primarily with that in mind. I don't profess to be an expert in the creation of ads. I've never tried to fake that funk. I profess to be someone who can engage with people and help win business. But if I can do that in the context of a place that was willing to lean into representation and to make sure that growth audiences were reflected, then that's a place I could spend some time. Because in fact, images and messages matter. So might as well make sure those are relevant and resonate with the growth audiences that we speak to on a daily basis.
Yeah. What were you doing before you worked at 72 and Sunny?
Well, I was a growth officer at a couple of firms before. One was in the healthcare space. One was in the um, luxury services space. And so I built my career. I'm an engineer by trade. I went to Michigan, go blue. I know you
Mhm.
went to a different Big Ten school, but I have a lot of love for that.
I got
Um,
mine right here.
okay, look at you. So there we go. Um, Big Ten. Um, but so engineer by trade, business degree, and post business degree, I really kind of started focusing on market making roles, some combination of sales, marketing, strategy, and growth. And so the prior roles before 72 and Sunny were in that vein.
Interesting.
Yeah, with a variety of different industries and org sizes. So a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
What was the moment you studied engineering? Was the realization you wanted to get into those market making opportunities? So, like, did you have that click? Was it overnight?
Yeah, I was enjoying running a factory. We were making things. I really appreciate the tangibility of making something, being able to see it or touch it at the end of the process. Um, but also recognize that in a lot of those environments, the decision authority and the influence on the business was coming from a different function. And I wanted to be closer to that. I wanted to be able to affect broader and bigger outcomes, not just manage downside risk. And oftentimes, when you're making a thing, you're managing downside risk. So if you're at a factory, the expectation is you produce X number of units, and you're trying to make sure you don't produce X minus Y units. You're trying to
Yep.
make sure no one gets hurt. You're trying to make sure the quality of X units is what it should be. And that's very different than saying, well, which should we be making? Which units should we be making? What type of things should we be making? Can we do something that grows the business, which gives people more opportunity to grow in their professional career? And so I felt like if I could step into a role that was a bit more market making, I could like influence both the business and the people that work at the business and the people who rely on the business. So that's
Well,
why I
now
made this.
you are in the perfect job right now, like winning clients, like growing the clients. Like, it's good for the agency. It's good for the client. They're going to keep on growing. It's good for the consumers that they're putting out a healthy, good product that helps lives and stuff like that. Good services that make their lives better. If you're talking to the right people, you really nailed it.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. I'm not sure everybody thinks about it that way. People hear growth and they think about more revenue, more money. And I think about it as more opportunities, more chances for people to have bigger roles, for them to feed their families, to maybe make more money, to do the things that might be important to them. And so that's true for us. The same thing falls as true for our clients. If we can treat them well and deliver for them, their businesses grow, they get more opportunities, they expand their teams, more people get jobs. I think there is a few institutions in the world that can really impact humanity, especially in the American context. It's business, it's government, and it's religion. And I wasn't interested in being a priest. Um, Lord knows that may not have been the right place for me. Government has its own set of challenges that I didn't want to dance with. Business was one where I felt like I could step in and actually make a difference and help humanity through the context of business.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. I was thinking right when you said the sectors, I was thinking politics, and then I didn't think of religion right away, so that's bad on me. That's a good comment
No,
there too. Hope's from Chicago. That's where I'm from.
yeah,
But the last thing
yeah,
we got to bring it all home here, because how you broke in is really interesting. Obviously, you had a good amount of experience. You were kind of building up into the global chief growth officer throughout your career. But how you made that transition, you identified a problem, you saw it with your family, and then obviously that problem is going to exist on a larger scale. And you went directly to the agency and saying, like, this is something that I want to help fix. I think that is really powerful and very like strategic in a way.
Well, I'll say that I think it's important to paint an even fuller picture, right? Like the folks at 72 and Sunny, when I met Matt Jarvis and Evan Shute, these weren't folks that I knew prior to our first interaction, and they didn't know me either. And I was completely outside of the industry that they had worked for many years to build. And so it took a lot of courage and creativity for them to even consider someone who was such an outsider. Like the number one question I got for the first year is, how the hell did you get here? How did we find you, and how did you find us? And so there was a chance interaction that led to me meeting the folks at 72 and Sunny. And the more I learned about the company and what was important to them, their value system, the more it aligned with some of the things that I've been thinking about prior to meeting them. So I can't say that I was scouring the internet looking for an advertising agency. I was not. But there's these moments of time when the universe or God or whatever you believe in my case, it's God. I'm like, there's things in the world that I want to do. How do I best accomplish it? And all of a sudden, opportunities start to arrive. And so it just worked out well. But I think there was clarity of purpose on both sides. They clearly wanted someone who had a different perspective. And I clearly wanted to provide, use the next part of my career to do something that was meaningful and that mattered. And I felt like this was it.
I love it. So knowing what you know now, you've been in the ad industry now for 4 or 5 years at a great shop. You've been winning. You've been crushing it, and you have this interesting perspective because you weren't always in it. What do you tell the next generation, people that are looking to break in, whether they're college students or they're transitioning from a different industry? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell them to better their break in and then thrive in the industry?
Yeah, and the first thing I would say is be prepared to learn. Like, I think a lot of people think they can study their way to success through college. And I said, look, I am a person that sits on a couple of degrees and some student debt. So I definitely value education. I think that some of the best education you can get is in practical application, is in the practicum of it all. And so when you find an opportunity, first you have to hustle to get an opportunity. But when you do, you've got to be willing to listen and learn and observe and discover, and then apply your expertise to whatever problem you have. You have to perform. So I think part of the breaking in process is being adaptable and willing to absorb information and then deliver something that's valuable back to the business. So that's the first part. The other part is I would be thoughtful about who and where you choose to work and engage. Shoot for the best agencies. If you can't get to one of the very best at the beginning, take what you can get and learn a lot, crush it, and prepare for the next opportunity. You know, it's amount of preparation that goes into it. And in my case, my preparation came from working with lots of other businesses, being a business leader, working internationally and globally. So all those things that I'd done before in my life prepared me to have a conversation about, hey, guess what? All you do all day is service clients in different industries. Guess what? I've worked in lots of industries.
Yeah.
All you do is talk to business leaders. I was that person before I met you all. You know, you were a global entity. Guess what? I've worked in companies that service people across the globe. So I was prepared for the conversation. And it meant that I could present at that moment in time that I might be able to be a good candidate for them. And so I think every part of the process of as you grow and you're maturing in your career, those can all be building blocks for the next thing. But you should be intentional about those things as well.
I love it.
Is that helpful? Or did I miss the mark?
No, you hit it. I think, yeah, every experience will help shape your narrative is what I'm taking away. Even if you're not sure, it's like, I worked at Nordstrom in in high school, and that sucked at the time, but it was the customer service, which helped me become an account manager. You might not realize it. If you can,
Exactly.
get it close to what you want and identify it early on, that's great. But even if you're just taking in some of these things, you can connect the dots looking backwards as well.
I think you said it right. There is something to learn in every environment and in every experience. And if you can someone once said, eat the meat, spit out the bones. If you can consume the part that can be really valuable for you and then reapply it, there's a valuable component in almost every interaction. And so take that and apply it to the next thing and you can be successful.
Damian, nice job. How can people learn more about you or 72 and Sunny, internship programs, anything going on? Where should they go?
Well, you can certainly start with 72andSunny.com. We have a lot of really good information on there about who we are and how we work. Our Instagram is a juicy, fun place. So is our LinkedIn page. So you can find us there on those socials as well. We don't have a standing intern program, but we are always looking for top talent. And so I would just encourage anybody that is interested in the space to find us. Look at what we do, understand how we've moved in the world over the last few years, what's current with us, and be bold enough to reach out and see if there's a space for you. We always want more athletes, more high-performing athletes on our team. So bring them on.
Well, Damian, keep on rocking it. Thanks so much for taking the time. I'm excited to see all the future success that you guys have.
Well, I just want to say thank you for this. What you're doing in this industry is unique and fresh and different and fun. And you carved out a hell of a niche for yourself through this podcast. And so hats off to you for being bold enough to try something different and delivering so well on it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not just the goofy whiteboard videos. We got some meat here too on the long form stuff.
I love the whiteboard videos. Make sure you keep that up. And if all goes well, I look forward to spending time with you in Cannes, France at Sport Beach. We're going to have a whole thing there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Everybody be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely right there.
More to come.
Great. Damian, take care. Thank you again.
Thank you.